Martin's Test Shaves. It's Monday, 17th of November. I've just come back from the workshop and I've done a little bit of work on this lovely razor. Well, it was a lovely razor. It's a Gong. Look, it's even got its original case. Now this, of course, is the extra German Gong razor hologram by Wald Solingen. As we all know, Wald Solingen, extraordinarily good maker. So, on a request from one of my few sane subscribers, I thought I'd do this little bit of a coticule one stone sharpening. So, honing on a one stone, very, very easy. First of all, don't know the age of this stone, but it is, judging by its box, fairly modern, probably within the last 30-40 years, certainly. Anyway, let's get a slurry going and we'll get into it. There's the stone. As you can see, it's a very nice coticule. What we're trying to do is get rid of the white clay, which is the basis of a coticule, and see from the sediments, you won't see them, is the little trapped garnets. And it's the garnets, of course, that do the sharpening. So, driving up a reasonably heavy slurry, which is only a work of seconds. Anyway, let me just discuss the razor before we get on. The razor, as I say, is a just saved. One of those jobs where, as you can see, it's actually got a pretty good finish now, but there are little traces of corrosion. Not heavy, but stained, I'd say, more than anything else. It's got a slightly unusual grind to it, very, very acute at the back. But I've got this one as a selection for you guys because it's actually in pretty good condition. It's just over 6/8. So the first thing is test the edge. I did that earlier on the back of the nail and it was pretty grippy. I also had a quick inspection of the edge. There's no faults, so it's been looked after during its life, but somebody put it back in its case, probably slightly damp. Anyway, first thing is let's kill the edge just to make sure. So, yeah, that's now no edge at all. I'm not bothered taping it because you can see it's not in its fresh life, shall we say. Got a little bit more water because it will dry out very quickly. Very, very quickly. And what we're doing now is watching the colour of the slurry. Very, very good indicator. So rotary strokes, because most of our lovely little coticule stones aren't that big. This one isn't a big stone, so you can't really do the up, down accurately as you would on, say, a big synthetic. But the curious part I've always found with a one stone hone is it works nearly every time. In fact, I'll tell you a little secret. I wasn't very good with stainless steel. Stainless steel edges, not my favourite. And the one thing I did find with stainless steel is that on a coticule, they work very, very well. So if you've got a recalcitrant, naughty stainless steel edged razor that doesn't want to behave, I would suggest a coticule. Anyway, I don't know if you can see that clearly, but it's gone from almost pure white to a nice grey. So the grey obviously is the steel particles which the little garnets have removed. Let's just have a little test. The test being under the tap. That's the tap. The test being the famous nail test. Yep. I'll be damned. It's already there. So we've gone from a killed edge to a nail gripping edge. So that is now bevel set. So let's now not bother too much further. I'm just going to give a little touch more. One thing I have learnt is when you think something's ready, it usually isn't. It usually takes a little bit more work. The case in point being my last very successful shave with a very nice razor, which came from Mr. Fox, Anthony. And I found after the first stropping, although it gave me a good shave, it wouldn't in fact pass the hanging hair test both lengths of the hair, which is not a good sign. Oh, it's sharp. So what I did was I went another 40 laps on the canvas strop, just a pure canvas strop, and lo and behold, it now does both lengths of the hair, hanging hair tested. So I'm going to now go almost no slurry at all. This is one of the great, I don't know, mystical sides of honing. The little garnets now are in a very light suspension. So we're assuming that there's only very small amounts of steel coming off now. But the ultimate test, you can just begin to feel, feeling on a stone is peculiar. But I'd say this is ready. So we've gone heavy slurry, medium slurry, light slurry, but the ultimate test is water. So let's remove our little bits and pieces. That's the slurry stone. And hopefully the ultimate test, which is, will it stick? And this is running water, the blade resting fairly lightly, and it's just beginning to be sticky. This is the tricky part. How much lubrication, how much water, how many laps. But the trick is, if it's sticking, it's showing that as a very, very fine polished edge, or it wouldn't stick. So hopefully that's about ready. So what I shall do now is one last test on the nail, because I already know it's very, very, very good.